Many Aussies are back at work this week after the holidays, and for some, that means dealing with a difficult boss or a difficult colleague.
Whether it's a narcissist, a bully or a manipulator, they can make the workplace toxic and leave you feeling upset and undermined. But there are ways to spot psychopathic behaviour sooner so you can avoid falling victim.
Let's bring in psychiatrist Dr. Tanveer Ahmed. Good morning to you. What are the telltale signs that you are working with a psychopath?
It's a dark topic, Nat, but look, the term's usually applied to hardened criminals, but they do lurk as functional psychopaths in our midst, in our offices.
Really?
And really what we're looking at is a person who really lacks, the telltale sign is a lack of empathy and remorse, and they're almost like human predators, where they're really just seeing other people solely to be used for their own ends.
They lurk well, though, don't they, Doctor? They blend in.
Well, it can be quite useful in certain jobs, and that's where certain jobs actually attract these sort of traits. You know, for example, a business leader, media personality, sorry, guys, but yeah, that's a...
Felt-pointed?
That can be a common one, even amongst, in my profession, surgeons. So sometimes if you're quite callous, it can actually be useful in certain roles where you're not necessarily sort of overwhelmed with emotion or empathy.
Well, you would expect they'd be quite smart. So can they pretend to have empathy?
To some extent, they're often charming or unflinching, so they don't necessarily easily feel pain. And there's a term that they use, they have a resilience to chaos. So often in chaotic workplaces, they thrive. So there's almost this theory that chefs seem to often have these traits. Because you have a sort of chaotic workplace, others fail, and then they can take advantage of it.
Can you, as a psychiatrist, if someone is a psychopath, can you teach them empathy? Are they capable of developing that?
It is. Look, that's a great question, mate. I mean, I guess it's variable, because the roots of this is often, they say, maternal rejection or some sort of trauma early life. And it's like they never learnt the skills to develop affectionate bonds. Right, that's the roots of it. Now, certainly there's levels of that, but I guess there's certainly... there's a portion of them that can learn empathy. But I guess the really hardened one, which is extremely rare, like the true psychopath is extremely rare, it's much tougher for them.
OK, so the empathy thing, that is difficult to work with someone if they don't have any empathy. But what else is wrong with being a psychopath?
I don't want to make it sound attractive.
Do you know what I mean?
Are you trying to say they're not that bad?
No, because are they going to go out and kill people?
No, well, not this version, but they're doing it they're being predators in a particular environment where it's actually quite useful. Like, you're right, some of us will have elements of this, but most of us still want affectionate bonds. The true psychopath doesn't necessarily want that, but they have destructive tendencies, so they often fall over. But the reality is certain environments do almost encourage this type of behaviour. So in certain types of, say, commercial environments, sometimes other types of media environments, you can actually be quite functional. But in their wider life, they might struggle to hold relationships for long periods of time.
You get the sense that Dr. feels we're on the cusp.
Yeah, I think he was looking...
you guys are all right, actually.
He was looking at us a lot,
oh, good.
I think.
We get a pass. We've been on the couch. We get a pass.
Thank you very much. That was fascinating.